llega hasta aquí sin que las cosas empezaran hace mucho tiempo. Pues bien, 2 soldados y una enfermera nos encontramos en
Amsterdam.
Hi, I'm Carlos from Cartelera. How are you?
Good, how are you, Carlos?
Hi, Carlos.
Fine, thank you. It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you. And well, the first question, Margot, your character Valerie is a really creative person, full of talent. She works with metal, she draws. Also, she makes art reusing objects. But what was for you the most interesting thing about this process of creating your character?
Exactly that. The art was so, I mean, of course, the history is fascinating, and learning about the pieces of history that a lot of people don't know about that are incorporated into this film. But for me and for Valerie, that was kind of second to her art, and exploring that was so fun. I hadn't really ever tried to make art before, weirdly. Not since like school or whatever, but yeah, I was like welding metal and making masks and making weird films, and but I was getting in contact with people in the most random countries. There was one lady in a totally random country that would make these shadow puppets that I could make movies with, and she would hand make them, and I was like emailing back and forth with her all through the pandemic. There was this guy in India that had he would x-ray people with deformities or shrapnel stuck in their brains, or weapons, or like babies, and just the weird stuff that you can kind of find weird things on the internet, obviously. I'm also recognizing that I'm starting to sound like a total weirdo, but it was, I'm actually a very happy, normal, balanced, positive person, as is Valerie sometimes. But no, the art was really, really, really a joy to create the art, and I had a long time to do it because it was all through the pandemic lockdown.
Rami, in your case, I would like to know how did you manage the development of your character in particular, and also did you find easy to work together as siblings?
Let's start with that, because we found it was pretty instinctual. I don't think anybody initially looks at us and thinks we could play siblings, and that was a concern from the beginning, but I don't think that's a worry after watching the film. I would look at what Margot was doing, and if I could break down the character in a way, I always saw her as being very, very instinctual, magical, ethereal, and just the type of person who can light up a room and lives life to the absolute fullest. I would say that there are aspects of Tom where he kind of wishes he could be that person to a degree. So he has to discover other ways to play to his own strengths, and so that was a complicated thing for me to discover. But once I cracked it, I felt strong about it. And then playing siblings, we developed this extraordinary friendship, and it continues.
Super easy.
Yeah, that was super easy. Yeah. Super easy.
It was actually funny. We'd start doing scenes, and like we'd be talking more than then you'd have Anya, who's meant to be Tom's wife, and it kind of created this funny thing where then Anya would always be, Anya's character would always be like, Tom, Valerie's not always right.
Right.
So.
Also, Amsterdam is supposed to be a drama and a romance based partially on a true story, but I've noticed many moments of comedy because of the chemistry between the characters. Do you both believe that this mix of genres is the key for the film to be successful?
I would say it's a comedy as well, kind of like a comedy crime thriller. But there's a lot of comedy in this film, and it's a very particular tone, as David O. Russell's films often are. They're always populated by these quirky characters who are very endearing, which I think is quite a trick to pull off on screen, and few people do it. I mean, he really does it in his own way, and even the most strange or potentially unlikable characters, he makes them so charming. So yeah, and funny. I think people are going to be surprised to see like Christian Bale being so hilarious. I mean, you've got Mike Myers and Michael Shannon, who, you know, Mike Myers known for his comedy, Michael Shannon known for his dramatic acting. You put them together and it's just incredible. It's explosive. It's actually some of my favorite scenes in the film.
Me too.
Well, you are all amazing. I think that's all. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Well, have a nice day.
Our
Thank
pleasure.
you,
Thank you,
too.
Carlos.
Hicimos un pacto y juramos protegernos, pasara lo que pasara. Nos encontramos en una situación en la que se nos acusa de haber matado a alguien, lo cual no es cierto.